Is there an inferiority complex? And if it exists, what impact does it have on human life? Hello, everyone. I wish you a good heart and a beautiful life. I'm Lena, and together we will travel to the inner world and walk the path of awareness. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. Thank you so much for supporting me and cheering me up with your kind heart. Today, in response to this question, I would like to explain a situation in which a person has had contemptuous and incorrect beliefs about himself. A state that we call the inferiority complex. The elephant you see in the picture is very powerful. It can pull a tree out of the ground with its trunk. But nevertheless, it was captured with this narrow rope. It must have the power to tear the rope, but it does not move or run away. Why is this so? You see, it all started in his childhood. Although baby elephants are also strong, they are not strong enough to tear such a rope. In the same childhood, when the baby elephant is tied with a rope, he tries hard to tear the rope and free himself from the leash, but he does not succeed. At that moment, a belief is formed in his mind, a belief that is stronger than any rope and chain. That belief is, I don't have enough strength to tear this rope, I can't run away, I don't deserve freedom. It is this institutionalized belief that will keep him from moving for the rest of his life, even when he has enough strength to tear the rope. That initial belief, which is a kind of inferiority complex, constantly echoes in his mind like an echo, telling him that you can't tear this rope. You are not able to free yourself. Such institutionalized beliefs exist in us humans as well. Beliefs that prevent us from trying and fighting to change the situation, both on an individual level, on a social level. Inferiority complex causes us humans to deprive ourselves of the life we deserve. The inferiority complex, the false belief that binds our minds like a rope, and until we let's not tear it up. This rope, the reality of our lives, will not change. But how can you tear this rope? How can we get rid of institutionalized, delusional beliefs? The solution is to be skeptical of our beliefs altogether and to examine their correctness and incorrectness every once in a while. Descartes said, "The human mind is like a basket of apples in which there are both healthy and fresh apples and spoiled and rotten apples." In this parable, apples are the equivalent of our beliefs. We should take the apples out of the basket from time to time and inspect their health. Put fresh apples in the basket and throw away the rotten apples. Inferiority complex, just like the illusion of self-aggrandizement, is like one of those rotten apples. A false belief that, if not identified and eradicated, will have a devastating effect on human life. Most of us, as children, were adventurous, brave, and risk-taking. We had childhood dreams and believed that we could make those dreams come true. But with the passage of time, this worldview faded under the dust, and another world vision took its place. Shame and embarrassment replaced recklessness. The desire to be in harmony with the congregation replaced the desire to be unique. Fear replaced courage, and caution replaced risk-taking. These were like ropes that was imprisoned our minds over time. Families, teachers, and the community, whether with good intentions or with prejudice, also participated in this process. For example, consider a child who is going on a trip with his fellow students from school. He packs his bag as much as he can, then his mother, out of compassion, opens the suitcase in front of her child's eyes and throws all the belongings out. He discarded the clothes that the child had chosen and replaced them with more suitable clothes that he saw fit. And then he packed the suitcase again in a much more orderly manner. Now imagine that the child has grown up and wants to choose a major to go to university. Again, the parents tell him out of compassion, "This field you want to choose is not suitable for you. This field of study has more social status, prestige, and income." The same person, a few years later, meets a girl or a boy and wants to get married. Again, his parents tell him, "This person is not suitable for you, and we know a better person ourselves." This is how inferiority complex is tied around that person's leg like a rope over time. In this example, he has the belief that he himself is not able to make the right decisions for his life, that others must make decisions for him. Or, for example, he has the false belief that making mistakes and failing is very bad, that everything should always be perfect, that the best decision should always be made. But I don't know which is the best decision. I have to let others decide for me. These are the ropes that bind the human mind, like an elephant that lived in the inferiority complex. We humans often continue to live with the same beliefs we had about ourselves in the past. Beliefs that may have been wrong in the first place, or perhaps true at the time of their formation, are no longer true today, but we still live with the same beliefs. When a person feels that they are not smart enough, talented, capable, or not lovely enough, or not deserving of having more, these are the same ropes and the same inferiority complex. The ropes that stop us from moving, the negative beliefs that stop us from progressing. In the field of work, many people do not like their work or are not satisfied with their income, but because of their inferiority complex, they feel that they do not deserve more than that and do not deserve change. It's the same with emotional relationships in couples. Many people feel that they do not deserve a good and relaxing relationship out of their delusion of inferiority complex. Even when they encounter an abusive and aggressive person, they still continue the relationship, hoping that if it's not pleasurable, at least it's not too painful. These people have inferiority complex. Man's beliefs affect his worldview, and man's worldview influences his decisions, behavior, and actions, and man's actions make up the reality of his life. The world of a person who suffers from the inferiority complex is getting smaller and smaller day by day. At Dartmouth College, one of the most prestigious universities in the United States, an interesting experiment was conducted on the effect of people's misconceptions about themselves, in which the faces of the participants was made up with a disgusting wound, and then they were sent to another room for an interview. On the other hand, the interviewers did not know in advance who they were going to be with and under what conditions they should face. After the interview, interviewees had to report how the interviewers reacted to the scar on their face and how they behaved towards them, but they were tricked. Just before they entered the interview room, Grimar told them to wait a moment because they had to make a final change to facial makeup without the interviewees noticing. They removed the wound completely from faces. So when interviewees entered the interview room, they looked as normal as ever, but they believed that the disgusting wound was still on their face. Interestingly, when they returned, they reported how strange the interviews had been conducted. The other person was clearly disgusted and saddened to see the wound on their face, although he did not say anything directly, and he did not want to look directly at their face. They reported that both sides felt very bad when they were interviewed. You see, the illusion that there was a scar on a person's face, it affected his behavior and his experience of reality. He entered the room with prejudice against the interviewer's behavior, and since his own behavior based on this prejudice was unnatural, he conveyed this negative feeling to the other person, and this really affected the interviewer's attitude as well. The back and forth transmission of these negative emotions became a vicious cycle, and finally an interview that could have been done well turned into an interview in which the parties were uncomfortable from each other. Hear the delusion of the person that his face is ugly and disgusting created an unpleasant reality for both parties. So what we believe about ourselves influences how we treat others and how others treat us. The inferiority complex creates distance between human beings. A woman meets a man. A few weeks have passed since their relationship. The man no longer responds to the woman's messages. The woman thinks because of her inferiority complex that she is not good and not enough for the man, so she is abandoned. On the other hand, it turns out later that the man, too, because of his inferiority complex, thought that in the long run, he could not be in a position to make the woman happy. Fearing abandonment and heartbreak in the future, before their love deepened, he said to himself, "It is better to end the relationship here before it is too late." So in this case, too, you can see how the inferiority complex on both sides has caused the loss of a relationship. Sometimes the inferiority complex is seen in people who is really unexpected to us. For example, Cameron Russell, an American supermodel, used to say, "Despite her tall height, long legs, and beautiful hair, many mannequins don't feel satisfied with themselves at all. In their own hallucinations, they are not beautiful enough or thin enough." A person who suffers from the inferiority complex loses his self-esteem. He is extremely cautious and conservative. In this way, He deprives himself of having an authentic life. Fearing that his work will be flawed, he does not do anything extraordinary and becomes contradictory, because on the one hand he is a perfectionist, and on the other hand he is content with the undesirable conditions of his life. A person with an inferiority complex is afraid of failure, unaware that a person learns from his failures and gains experience. As long as a person falls to the ground, then gets up again and continues on his way, there is nothing wrong with falling. Falling and failing is bad when a person cannot continue to try and fight. In any case, the way of life is such that most successful people had failed many times before they succeeded. That a person who has inferiority complex does not try and fight because he says to himself, "What is the use? I am most likely to fail." Such an approach is not rational and expedient, because if he tries and fights, there is a chance of winning, but if he does not fight, the probability of victory is zero. The inferiority complex, like the illusion of self-aggrandizement, is also true at the social and political level and at the level of a nation or a country. To conclude, we said that we need to inspect and review our beliefs about ourselves. Let us throw away our delusional beliefs. We should not be like the elephant whose leg was tied with a rope and who had the inferiority complex and believed that he could not tear the rope. We have to tear the rope. We should build positive and realistic beliefs for ourselves, because better beliefs will turn into better decisions, wills, and better performance will make a better world for us. We must return to the world before the captivity in the ropes. A world where our beliefs had not yet been institutionalized. A world where everything that was really possible was also possible in our minds. A world before I can't. The world of how can I. The world before falling and not to get up. A world in which we were not afraid of falling because we knew that we would rise again after falling. I hope that by breaking these cords, we will free ourselves from the bondage of illusions. Of course, this is a path that cannot be taken all at once. We must move forward step by step until the day we can create the reality we deserve with the help of positive beliefs about ourselves. A reality better than today's reality. My friends, remember that our greatest joys are often intertwined with our deepest sorrows, and I hope this part has helped your life a little. You are invited to grow. Just remember, every great journey begins with a small step. Thank you for being with me on this journey today. If you liked the video, click the like button and follow our videos. Stay tuned for my new videos, and finally, hello and the light of God's kindness shines brighter than ever.